gene therapy platform company. Our focus is rare disease, and the reason for that is very simple. Rare disease is an area where very few folks are, companies, venture capital firms, any organizations are deploying capital and resources right now. It represents thousands of small indications. You have tens of millions of people who are affected, and it's worth hundreds of billions of dollars in terms of the cost savings that if you could find one-and-done solutions. And so the issue isn't that the science isn't there. The issue is the scalability isn't there. And so we created Apriligen to solve that bottleneck. When we think about how Apriligen was built differently, the first and most important thing is we didn't approach other people with this idea first. We looked to ourselves as founders, and we put about $20 million of our own money into this so that every dollar that gets spent is focused on translational execution. The scientific and clinical network that our founders bring come from all of the usual suspects that you would expect to see. We also have independent governance to make sure we're not going off of a cliff like Thelma and Louise. We're really focused on finding very discernible outcomes and milestones that we can deliver both from a human and a capital perspective. Then finally, we have execution partners that are helping us create an outsourced model which reduces our overhead and allows us to be extremely efficient. So when we think about what makes our approach different, obviously we're a gene therapy company, and so we're focused on precision medicines. But what that means to us in very simple terms is we fix the machine. If the human body has a mechanical problem, we find that problem, we isolate that problem, we cure the defect, and then we find a way to scale that process over and over again in monogenic illnesses. So where are we? We're at sort of the nexus of three areas, two of which are in control, one of which is actually very fortunate. We have a precision medicine platform in the form of an ex vivo lentiviral program. Our lead product is already in the clinic, so this is real. This is happening. People are being treated. We built an AI engine to support all of our activities. And then we have the benefit of regulatory innovation. So RDEP, Fast Track, all these different novel regulatory approaches that accelerate the pathway for us that didn't exist 2 years ago are things that we can take advantage of to make ourselves faster, leaner, quicker, and more efficient. When we look at the way we are actually sort of leveraging scale, we're using technology to do that. And we call our AI and machine learning platform NICOP. And the reason for that is it allows us to measure the efficacy of the biological activity more effectively. It allows us to target more in a more precise way, and it allows us to demonstrate to regulators exactly how our therapies work and limit the risk profile as well as optimize the outcome in terms of efficacy. And what that means is that it translates into lower cost, faster timelines, and improved success. And we're actually bringing this to the FDA during our Type C meeting that's coming up. So again, this is definitely not a science project. This is happening right now, and this, we hope, will set the standard for how people think about monogenic illness. We're validating it, by the way, using our RPS-19 lead clinical program as the control. And so when we think about what we have to do next, it's really about execution. We have our lead candidate, we have our pipeline of products, we have basically the validation of the NICOP engine running on a parallel path, and then we have an opportunity to work with the regulators to create a novel regulatory pathway that will streamline the process going forward for our entire umbrella or platform designation. And what that comes with are a number of very important near-term milestones, including a BLA filing, we think, in the first quarter of 2027, the PRV that comes with our orphan designation that's worth about $150 million of non-dilutive capital, and a variety of other benefits, all of which benefit our investors. And so in terms of our economic rationale, we've talked about the fact that we think we can do this for less money in a shorter amount of time. We believe that this drives commercial upside because we're focusing in areas where no one else is. So we don't need blockbusters. We want to create a panoply of $300 to $500 million programs that all of which are funded and self-funded by the fact that there's this regulatory opportunity. And then finally, we believe it's scalable and repeatable. So where we are right now, we would love for you to join us in this opportunity. There are a lot of near-term inflection points and milestones that are happening today that are basically translating into actual validation. And it's not just clinical validation or preclinical validation, it's platform validation. So thank you all very much.